So I'd like to start by thanking everybody for joining us today. I know there's been a lot of presentations over the last 3 days. A lot of great presentations that we've been able to attend and sit in and learn different things. And I also hope that everybody was able to go to Kareem's speech earlier today. That was very eloquently spoken, and it actually aligns with what we're going to be talking about today too. So for the past year, we decided to conduct our research on the impact of service learning on the intercultural competency of pre-service teachers. All of us up here on the stage, we are going to be future teachers, either in elementary education or secondary education. And so as future teachers, we understand the importance of intercultural competency and why it is essential for future teachers and present teachers to have that intercultural competency. And not only for future teachers to have that understanding, but also students and every individual. So we're hoping to show the students when they're growing with us throughout the years that you can have intercultural competency to be, and you need it to be successful in the world.
Our research team consisted of 10 students, including myself, Amanda.
I'm John.
I'm Dave.
Sean.
Tori.
Andrea.
Chandler.
Usaina.
Consisted of 2 grad students and 2 faculty members, Dr. Sandell and Dr. Pulaski.
We have 5 research questions. 4 of them will be addressed today, like right now in the session, and then the second question on the screen was addressed earlier in another presentation. The first question you see on the screen is we wanted to know the beginning level of intercultural competency on the students who are entering the classroom. The second question that was answered earlier today was the effect of living abroad. And then the third question is, can one course, the course that we're going to be talking about today, make an impact on intercultural competency? And then if it makes a difference on the type of service learning that the students chose to take. And then the changes of intercultural competency compared among pre-service teachers at 3 different data collection points.
Okay, so throughout our presentation, we will be mentioning these 2 words a lot. This first one is culture, and that's just the beliefs, values, and behaviors of a group of people. And then the second one is intercultural competency, which is just the adaptation and understanding of other different cultures.
This is the theoretical basis we use for our research. It's based on different stages that students move through. The first stage is denial, which means that one culture is the only culture. The next is defense, which means that one culture is the only good culture that there is. The next is minimization, which means that all cultures are universal. The next is the acceptance stage, which means that cultures are all equal but constructed differently between them. The next is the adaptation stage, which means that you're adapting to fit into another culture. And then finally, there's the integration stage, which means that you're fully integrating into other cultures and that you're truly becoming multicultural. Many students that took this survey believe that they were in the acceptance stage, but as we find out through our research, they're really in the minimization stage.
So these are the data that we collected from our subjects. So we collected their demographics, their academic major, and their instructor's name. And we also look at their prior experience with people of culture. We measured this data using the IDI, which is the Intercultural Development Inventory. And we collected this data during the beginning and end of the semester. And we also have one for like before the final semester for the pre-service teachers. For the demographic characteristics, half of our subjects are College of Education, and most of them are female, between the ages of 18 to 30 years old. Most of them are U.S. citizen, and these are the demographics that reflect on all teachers.
So I know we are talking about the effects of service learning on pre-service teachers, but these statistics right here, what I want you to take away from this would be the mean or the average. And this is taken from those same demographics previously stated by Andrea. And this is not just pre-service teachers. Now this is just all those demographics previously stated. And what is interesting about that mean and average, it comes back year after year. as the same, right around that 88. And that falls on a theoretical basis right around the minimization stage. And to elaborate on that minimization, this is where you begin to minimize differences from culture to culture, but still protecting one's own self-identity or culture, which means you still kind of see your own culture as better than others. And yeah.
So the course I was taking was Human Relations in a Multicultural Society. It's a 3-credit course, and in that course you're required to take 18 hours of service learning at the site of your choice. You're also required to have 9 hours with a cultural partner. For my cultural partner, I spent 9 hours with him, and his religion was like Buddhism, and we played games all the time, and then we did a bunch of like anime stuff because he was really into that. So I was definitely like involved in his culture because I was never really familiar with anime, and then I was introduced to it by him.
My cultural partner was a girl from South Korea, and we went to movies a lot, and we did bowling. She never had gone bowling before, and we have a bowling alley on campus, so we went there. And yeah, it was pretty cool. We learned about each other.
For my partner, she's a white girl from Mankato. She's local in Mankato, and I was new there, so we volunteered in like different programs. Like there's like a program in Mankato where you can walk a dog, so we did that for like an hour every day, and that's basically like what we did, and talk about like what's like different like local things that we can like do in Mankato.
I would like to talk about my service learning. Oh, not yet.
So the importance of having a cultural partner is to really embrace yourself into a different culture, and not only realize what your culture is, but being able to understand what someone else's culture is. It was also required to have, it was an option to have a one-on-one coaching with your professor. This would go over your results on the test that you took at the beginning of the semester.
So the data collected suggests that the Human Relations course improved the IDI scores by 6 points from before taking Human Relations and after taking Human Relations. This was statistically significant.
Here on the screen to the left, you have all the different types of service learning opportunities that students were able to choose from. There was a total of 8. They range from volunteering at the powwow, volunteering with elderly who had disabilities, volunteering with newcomers who were immigrants to our country, and volunteering at a local community center, which was called Adult Basic Education, which was for adults who were learning English. And I volunteered there, and it was a lot of fun, and I personally connected to it because my mom goes to that one where I live from, and I thought it was interesting to see her side as a student and then me volunteering to teach the student, and it was a lot of fun. There was people from all over the world actually, from like Somalia, Colombia, Africa. And it was interesting interacting with them and seeing how like every student learned differently.
So mine, not only were we required to do a service learning in a culture different than our own, is one that you haven't really experienced much in your life or came in contact with, and I did mine at LEAP, and that stands for Leisure Education for Exceptional People. And now they do different fun activities with people with disabilities, and that's something I've never really been around too many people with disabilities. I don't have any in my family, and I thought that'd be a good opportunity for me to put myself in a uncomfortable situation, and I definitely grew as a person, and my IDI score went up. I think a lot of which was from my experiences at LEAP, and we would just do different like arts and crafts, board games, and then there's like Special Olympics you can do as well. I did not partake in that, but yeah, no, it was a really cool experience. I'm glad I did it. It was tough at first, but it's something I think a lot of people should try.
And then for my service learning, I went through the YWCA, and I'm gonna be a secondary education teacher, but for that I was tutoring a 3-year-old Hispanic boy, trying to show him how to learn English a little bit more because he was fluent in Spanish and he had a little bit of English. Both his parents at home were speaking Spanish all time in the household, so it was very interesting to be part of that as a secondary ed teacher, being able to experience what a lot of the elementary ed teachers up here will be experiencing later, and then once they teach the kid up, then I'll get them later, which is kind of cool to experience that on the front of it, and then I'll be on the back side. So I think it's important for people to do that as well.